Tapos.
Hey everyone, welcome back. It is our third review in as many days. We are now reviewing Impact against New Japan Strong, Multiverse United. It is the second Multiverse show, technically, because they did one, I think, last year too, but it wasn't with New Japan. It wasn't against with NWA or something like that. But Impact Wrestling and New Japan Strong, it's a match made in heaven. No Josh on the show. If you watched our review last week about Sacrifice, Josh Alexander has a torn tricep. So the match against he was going to have against Kushida was replaced with Kushida versus Leo Rush. In my opinion, much better match, on at least in terms of visually.
We don't know because we haven't got there yet.
But joining us today is Putty Man and Campo.Reviews, the man who reviews TV shows, movies, and now wrestling. You'll find all their stuff down in the description box below. Go on and give them a follow. We're going on strong with Campo's new RLG Cast show. We're what, 6-7 episodes deep?
Yeah, I think it's 7.
Yeah, and
I should probably know, but I don't.
But I'll just say this: they have been some of the best content we've put out in a very long time. So go on and check that out. So did you guys watch the pre-show?
Yes.
Did we? Okay, I didn't know.
I don't know. Did you guys? You
Yes.
watched it with Putty, right? Okay.
Yes.
The first match was Yuya Uemura against Gabriel Kid.
Number one, I didn't want to even watch this because I hate Gabriel Kid.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a fine match. I like that they're trying to really show off Uemura because he doesn't get much time
He doesn't
on
get
actual
used enough.
Impact.
Technically, he's still on excursion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I think he might have a contract in Impact.
Okay.
Like, I think he's still with New Japan, but he has to fill his time served.
Okay. But obviously, clearly, they have a good working relationship, or else they wouldn't have done the show.
Which is good. We need these outside of WWE companies to keep working together.
It puts out great content. Yeah, it was a decent little match. It was a little pre-show match. Nothing. One thing I noticed: the production was New Japan Strong's production company and not Impact's production company.
Yes, and they did. I could tell by the blue hair girl that Putty really liked. But it was well filmed. Mind you, I'm not a huge fan of the early Ring of Honor style lighting,
like the underground, like
it's like a
independent scene.
spotlight on the ring.
And the audio, they had audio issues again.
They had a couple, especially when Mean Gia Miller tried to talk and her mic never worked.
Yeah.
Well, there was also a point where, and we were wondering if you heard it too, where we could hear background chatter.
The
like
whole
there's,
time.
Yeah. When they're doing a backstage segment and you just hear what's going on in the background.
You could hear the whole thing.
The whole match.
You could just hear people
If you
talking
listen-
behind the announcers.
Yes, there was. You can hear the Japanese commentary over the English commentary.
You could hear two girls having a conversation. They're like, "Hey, are you going to WrestleCon tomorrow?"
That
And the girl's
they
like, "Yeah, we are."
We literally were hearing this the whole time to where I was like, I wonder if JD's hearing the same thing, because he thought we actually thought a video was playing in the background. So what I did was I
stopped
paused
it like multiple times to like.
No, I heard the exact same thing. I heard the Japanese commentary. I heard about
you could
the
hear that too.
Yeah. So no, there was definitely some audio issues, but at least we got a kick-ass announce team of Matt Raywald, Tom Haffenen, and Ian Riccoboni.
Well, Ian was only there for the first match, wasn't he?
No, he was there for the whole show.
Was he? I don't remember him. I just remember Impact guy.
Yeah, but they're good. And I said in the last video, they are slowly becoming one of my favorite announcing duos.
Yeah, because it's not all nonsense.
Yeah. That was surprisingly, that is the only pre-show match. We get into the main show proper. First out of the gate, we're getting a title defense, the X Division Championship. We got Kevin Knight against Kazarian, against Clark Connors, against Rocky Romero, against Rich Swann, against Trey Miguel for the X Division Championship. And what a fun match this was. Yeah,
there was a lot of really cool spots. I really like Clark Connors.
Even
Kevin
Knight wasn't. Say what you will, but Kevin Knight wasn't bad in this either.
Everybody in the match was good. I didn't like the way Trey Miguel won.
Yeah.
By the way, he wins.
Yes, Trey Miguel retains. It was kind of weird. It kind of came out of nowhere.
But at the same time, I don't know this character, but it felt like it fit him. Like it felt like it would be something he would do, even though it's just really shady.
He is an opportunist. Yes, he'll take
Yeah.
any little. And I don't know who right now can really challenge him for that X Division championship.
They're running out of people.
Yeah.
Unless they're going to put Mike Bailey back there.
But after the match he had tonight, I think they've elevated Mike Bailey.
We'll talk about that.
But yeah, and I mean, but other than that, it was like there were some cool, innovative spots. It was a great start to open the show. It was a great opening match. And that's what you want in your opening match. Something fun, something exciting, something quick to get the crowd into it. And Trey Miguel wins. Next, we got Eddie Edwards, Filthy Tom Lawler, JR Kratos, and, somebody Campo doesn't really believe in, Joe Henry, against Sammy Callahan, Fred Rosser, Alex Coughlin, and PCO.
So immediately, Putty doesn't like PCO.
More PCO, please.
Putty just says he's an Undertaker knockoff and refuses to admit that his ring work is good.
No, his ring was good. No, I never said that.
That's what he said.
I didn't say that.
When has the Undertaker ever done a moonsault from the top rope to the outside?
I agree with him. No, he did some amazing things. It's just when you gotta understand, I'm still fairly new compared to what WWE when some of these characters. So when he came out, I was an old guy that looked like they said Frankenstein. I'm like, oh God.
The French Canadian Frankenstein.
Yeah, but I'm saying for me being new to him, it just reminded me of those backyard wrestlers that would basically copy the Undertaker because it was the hype train of the whole thing at that time.
No, that's Sammy Callahan.
No, I get, but my point is that's the reason why I didn't know that the guy had these moves for being an old guy that's big like that. And then I saw the moves.
You probably remember him way back in the day from the WWE when he was like the guy with the eye patch.
Oh, that's him?
Pierre Carlin.
This guy's a legend. I just didn't waste my time telling
you. What was it, the Quebecers or whatever they were called?
He was also in the French Canadians in WCW.
Oh, okay. See,
that's him.
Wow, what the hell?
We just blew Putty's mind.
Anyways,
but it was
pretty good. I don't wait. Who was on the other team? Not PCO's team.
There's Edwards, Filthy Tom Lawler, JR Kratos, and Joe Henry.
Okay, so I hate Eddie Edwards. We already know that.
Mm-hmm.
That's well established. Kratos was like the outlier in this match for me. That yes, he's very physically fit and he could go with them, but he's clearly not even remotely in a class with any of these wrestlers. Yeah. His offense.
He's an NWA guy, MLW or whatever it is.
It was. I think it's NWA. Because we saw him at both things.
Oh yeah.
But doesn't have a very big moveset, and he's botchamania for a lot of it.
Yeah, he was there to take the pin clearly.
Yeah,
because PCO pins him in the end.
And I mean, it wasn't a bad match. It was a little bit hectic. No. And considering that the last match had 6 people fighting all at once, this match was a little bit hectic.
Yeah,
because they started out with tag rules and then it just all went to shit.
It went out the window. Yeah, absolutely. But PCO is so over. The crowd is so behind PCO. It also continues the feud. He's slowly going through everybody until he gets to that match against Eddie Edwards.
I literally was the product of that person that was sitting there going, "What the hell is this guy? I love this guy now." Like it literally was one of those situations.
PCO?
I was like,
he grows on you. Absolutely, he does.
It's because listen, it's the person and the character that he's doing really well, and the in-ring work. Entrance wise, again, it just felt like old school because again, the whole atmosphere had that whole backyard wrestling vibes. So I think when he came out, my brain had that.
So did Sammy Callahan. Sammy Callahan's entrance was Undertaker-like as well for some.
Yeah. Well, no, I get it, but that's what I'm saying, Kev. So we even said it. I even said to him, when you're comparing to another show that we just did 2 reviews on, that show has very much a lot of lights going on, like glamour.
But that's also the grandest stage of them all.
I get it. Yeah, I get it. But that's what I'm saying. That's what you can tell. There's a very different dynamic when you change the lighting situation. You know what I mean? It feels very more gritty now, and that's what I did like it because of that. So.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
I forgot what I was gonna say, but yeah,
PCO.
I mean, decent match overall.
Okay. Jeff Cobb versus Moose is our next match of the night. Moose somehow keeps getting on these shows.
So I'm not gonna even lie to you. We very minimally watched this match. It got to the point where I was like, "You please fast forward." I'm like,
I just put, "Thank goodness Jeff Cobb wins."
He's Moose. I just can't watch Moose anymore. And not I don't want to take away from Jeff Cobb, because Jeff Cobb is very good, but Jeff Cobb is not a guy who can carry someone like Moose. So this match was just like one guy who wanted to do good things, but
Yeah.
they're all coming out sloppy because he's working with Moose, and then Moose literally doing nothing worthwhile.
But at least Moose didn't win. And this, I think, furthers my belief, since we talked about it on our review of New Japan Cup, that Cobb and Great O'Connor are no longer a tag team. It's Khan and
It's
Hanare.
Khan and Hanare.
I honestly think that this was a trial. I think Cobb is on his way to Impact.
Maybe, because he was on AEW the other night.
Yeah, but we'll see. I mean, it wasn't a bad match. It's just Moose. You know how that is. Was it? Then the next one, Mickie James joins the commentary team. We got Masha Islamovitch against Giselle Shaw, against Mia Yamashita and Deonna Purrazzo.
Wasn't it supposed to be Jordan Grace?
No, Jordan Grace is facing the winner of this match at Rebellion for the Women's Championship.
Okay, so I want to talk about this. This match was very good.
Mhm.
It was a little bit overly spot fest.
The wrong person won, I think.
I'm gonna 100% agree with you.
As much as I love her,
And as much as I love her and I want her to be there, how are you not giving a shot at the belt to someone who has 6 championships, one of which is the men's championships
In
in a
GCW.
major company?
we're talking about Masha Islamovitch, for those who don't know. This
She's
woman
literally
is
the
a beast.
MLW world champ. I mean, not sorry, MLW. She's
GCW.
GCW world champion.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, I was really hoping that that Masha was going to win to get her defining moment and finally win that championship.
You want to know something?
Hmm.
Of the 4 women in the ring, she got the least offense allowed and never looked like she was going to win the match in my eyes.
Masha, no.
Giselle Shaw was really good, by the way.
Yeah,
I don't
surprisingly.
Like she keeps getting better.
Yeah. And yeah, it was a good match. Like, take nothing away from
Oh,
the match
Yamashita,
itself.
that's who it was, right?
Yeah,
That was-
Yamashita from
she was
Joshi
great.
Pro.
Just freaking
She's from
great.
Joshi. Yeah.
Putty was loving it. She was just
Yeah.
straight dropping head kicks.
Yeah, she was like going hard on everybody. She was like shoot when everybody was working.
When her and Deonna started going 1-on-1, that was the best part of the match.
Yeah, when they
I
were
became a fan.
where they're putting each other in the arm bars and like,
Yeah.
yeah, that was a good thing. So Deonna Purrazzo wins. So this is my fear now. I'm afraid Macklin's winning.
No, I'm going to tell you what's happening. I have an even bigger fear that if Mickie James comes back, this 3-way match, Mickie James is going to win, number 1. And I have my second biggest fear is that if Mickie James doesn't come back, they're going to give Jordan Grace back the title. So you brought Deonna all the way here for nothing.
This is where Masha needed to be.
Yeah, in either situation, whether it's the 1-on-1 or the 3-way match, Deonna has to win in my eyes. You don't want to give the title back to Jordan yet, and
No.
Mickie James can't keep winning.
Now, okay, Mickie James said if she loses, she retires, right? But technically, if Deonna pins Jordan Grace, Mickie doesn't necessarily have to retire.
Exactly.
So they can keep that going. And she could still lose the belt. And this is the exact opposite. We were talking about this on our Sacrifice review. Mickie James feels like she's holding on to that title for dear life with the injury, while Josh is like, no, I'm injured. Let's have a new champion.
Yeah, take my belt and let's have someone else be champion.
And
this
I'll come
lady's
back
like,
for it.
well, I'm going to keep holding this belt even though I'm injured.
Yeah. Whereas Josh is like, I'll come back. I'll win it again. Now I'll be a 3-time champion.
This is what's funny to me. CM Punk situation, they took the title off him right away. They let Thunder Rosa hold that stupid belt for so long, even though she wasn't, before they even made the interim champion, and then they took it away from her later.
Because now it's no longer the interim champ.
Yeah, it's just like,
yeah,
like with CM Punk, I know they went interim as well, but they gave him, they gave the interim title right away. With Thunder Rosa, they went weeks before they even made an interim champion.
Yeah, it was a month. But I mean, you're right though. Putty has nothing to say in this one.
Not really. I mean, I was new to it and everything. I enjoyed the heck. I enjoyed. I mean, just not really. Other than I was enjoying the match. I mean,
okay. Next up, we get the tag match for the Impact World Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. You have the Motor City Machine Guns, you got TMDK, you got Aussie Open, and you have the Bullet Club of Chris Bay and Ace Austin. As soon as I saw TMDK in this match, no matter what, I knew they were going to be the ones that were going to take the pin.
You also knew that I was going to be mad about it.
Yes.
They have no business being in this match. You have
You said that.
you have Bullet Club. You have
one of the best young tag teams out there right now in Bullet
Motor
Club.
City Machine Guns and
Legends
Aussie Open,
who are
then
probably
you
the
have
next
TMDK.
IWGP, the next IWGP tag team champions, probably.
You could have brought in any other 2 people from New Japan. You could have brought Goto and friggin' Yoshihashi. You're giving me TMDK. What the hell are you doing for me? Like, this doesn't help me. You could have gave us Shingo and Tanahashi.
Yeah.
Or Takahashi, sorry.
Shingo and Naito.
Shingo and Naito. Like, you could have gave me anything else.
Yeah.
I would have said Shingo and Sonata, but clearly we can't have
Clearly
that.
we can't now. Sonata's facing that review will be out next week. The show's
just,
this coming Saturday.
It felt so strange to me that they were there. Remind you, they were okay. But the announcers kept trying to sell us on the fact that Bad Dude Tito's going to be the X Factor. Like, no, he's not.
No, he's not.
The Aussie Open are monsters. Their run of dominance in this match was so amazing.
Davis is amazing. I am becoming a Mark Davis fan, and Kyle Fletcher too.
I'm becoming a Kyle Fletcher fan, and you're becoming a Mark Davis fan. I didn't realize how tall Kyle Fletcher was. They're both so tall.
They're huge.
Yeah. Anyways, Putty was very convinced that Ace Austin was a woman.
Tell you what, Putty, you know who he's married to? He's married to the lady who does the backstage interviews.
Yeah, but we didn't get to see her because it kept cutting off. Remember?
Oh yeah.
And I mean, outside
he
of
has that
situation,
he has that Marilyn Manson type of look to him.
He does, and he's very shaved.
Yes, he's very polished.
He's very smooth. But like, dude, they're so good. And this match to me was mostly Motor City Machine Guns versus Aussie Open.
Yeah,
no, Bullet Club was barely like.
Bullet
Club's offense was great, but they kept being removed out of the match.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. It's Machine Guns. I think it was more a showcase for Aussie Open. They may do a unification match. They may do Aussie Open versus Machine Guns for the belts. They could do a.
I think there's potential that you could see Aussie Open win the Impact titles.
Yeah. I think they're going to win the IW. I personally think this Saturday they're winning the IWGP championships.
Just, you know what bothers me? That now Motor City Machine Guns don't have any titles.
No, they still have the strong belts.
Do they still have the strong?
Yeah,
I didn't
they still
come out with it.
Yeah, they still have the strong belts.
I must have just not been paying attention.
Yeah,
Okay,
they still have the strong belts, so it's fine. But this was a fun match, and I said not enough Bullet Club of Austin and Bay. I could have used more of that, but it was still a great match. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Next, we got a match that I saw in WWE a few years ago of Kushida and Lio Rush when they were both in NXT.
This match was a freaking banger. And
I was not expecting this. They announced this literally the day before the show.
I like Lio Rush is so good. And I think Putty really liked all the video game and movie references.
Well, yeah, of course. Again, new characters.
So Putty hit us up with the ones you caught.
Well, see, the thing is, I'm trying to remember because
Putty caught 3 video game references, like legit. I didn't even know them. I knew one of them actually.
Yeah, I can't remember what they were right now. What were the ones?
It was like it was something with Kushida's moves, or Lio Rush's moves. But then he had the hoverboard, which was
the hoverboard
Back
lock.
To the Future.
Yeah,
and he didn't even realize the Back to the Future thing until I explained it to him that he usually wears a blue shirt and a life preserver.
He dresses like Marty McFly to the ring.
Yeah, I had no idea. I had no idea about that and everything.
Well, he didn't dress like that today.
No,
for some reason.
Either way, he had a very appealing look to him. That really, I was getting into that whole idea. And again, I did bring it up. I was like, man, they keep bringing they do a lot more video game references on that end. That pretty much sucks me.
And they're not they're not so much on the nose like the way the New Day does it. New Day is.
Hey, they're putting Super Mario.
Yeah, look, an 8-bit character in the background. Like, no, you don't have to do that. You just making those little nods to video games lets a gamer like myself go, ooh.
Like the way Omega does it.
Exactly.
When he went full Sephiroth at
Wrestle
at
Kingdom.
Wrestle Kingdom.
But yeah, this was probably one of my favorite matches of the show.
This was my favorite. I'll say it now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
I could agree with that. The next one was pretty good, but yeah, the last 3 matches were great.
I just think this match ended kind of abruptly,
Mhm.
especially
The hover
way,
lock from jumping off the ropes there.
which we will talk about that in one sec. But the way that the offense was going for the whole match, Kushida was staying very technical, while
Yeah.
Lio Rush was going very hard hitting and high flying, and he was in such a fucking sorry for swearing.
Nah,
He was in
I'm
such
not
a
monetized. I don't
dominant,
care.
he was in such a dominant position in the
Yeah.
match to have it end the way that it ended seemed weird because
A bit of a shock.
But we rewound it 3 times because we're like, wow, that's amazing. He caught him in the air in a hover lock, but Putty realized that by the 3rd time that
Yeah.
he didn't put him in the lock until they hit the ground.
The ground.
But
He
it
set
looked
him
like
up
he
in.
caught him in the air, put him in the lock, and came down.
But that's
with that.
how good these guys performed, right? Like Kushida
Yep.
is one of the greatest junior heavyweights of all time.
Yeah.
And he's not used well enough. And
Lio Rush
this
has been blowing my mind lately.
Yeah. Say what you will about Lio Rush, the human being, but as an in-ring performer, this kid is special. This
Yeah.
kid is
Mm,
special.
This was very
him
insane.
versus Takahashi.
Takahashi was another
is
good match.
We already said it's in the argument for match of the year.
The
It
year,
has to
yeah.
be.
Kushida goes over. Kushida wins.
Yeah.
Is this Kushida building momentum for
Yes.
Rebellion?
Smart way, because you made Lio Rush look really good here, and then you kept Kushida hot. Kushida needs to keep winning.
Yeah. So he's winning in 2 weeks.
They won
Okay.
the trios match, right?
Yep.
Kushida's team. So
Yep.
I mean,
He got the win. He got the pin.
yeah. So it has to keep going. He's gonna win
Yeah.
the title. If they give it to
Well-
Macklin, I think you,
It's the wrong choice.
as a company, you failed.
Yeah.
No one
Absolutely.
wants Burt Macklin FBI.
Burt Macklin. Next you have Kenta versus Minoru Suzuki. Holy
Putty-
shit. When Minoru
Putty-
Suzuki comes
Putty
out,
liked this one.
why?
Yeah,
Because
his song Kazanina Re is like some next level.
it is one of the most over theme songs in all of wrestling. You heard the crowd, like the music wasn't very loud, but when the crowd chanted Kaze Ninare, it's like it just exploded with the
Yeah,
whole crowd
and-
yelling it.
To be honest with you,
And Suzuki was building up to it too. He was like,
he always does.
Yeah.
But this match, Kenta's great.
Yeah.
And Suzuki is a legend. But at this point, when we watch Suzuki matches, we have like this expectation of what it is. And I think this one kind of went above and beyond what he's usually doing. Like he was
and
really
this was
good here.
also Kenta taking it up a level too. Kenta was a lot more physical. He wasn't as jokey in this as sometimes he is in some of the New
They
Japan
were
matches.
really striking each other. Like Putty
Yeah.
at one point was like, wow, they're really hitting each other hard.
Mhm.
Yeah,
was
they
the
were going
elbows
like
or
I put.
something.
It
I
was a
think they were
great
throwing
strong style
elbows.
match. Like it really got. I even put it. They got physical.
Yeah. Oh, when they fell through the barricade, I
Mm-hmm.
thought he got hurt because they were stretched out so far as they were going down. Oh my god!
Yeah.
And there was no padding on the outside.
No, there wasn't. It was all
In thi-
concrete.
in this, it was like 2 feet of padding and then 2 feet of concrete. So
Yeah.
Yeah, he kept on throwing, and that one drop, what was the one drop that was on the concrete where it looked like even just like
He dropped.
like
He kind of fell on his head, the side of his head
yeah,
there.
yeah. I was like, oh man, that's
yeah,
brutal.
in this match
Yeah.
and the next match, there was multiple spots where I was like, I can't believe they're doing these outside like things when they
Spots
know
on
that
concrete.
there's no like.
Yeah.
protection.
It's so-
We also need to
it's-
say this was for the strong, the
Yep.
New Japan Strong Heavyweight Championship, open weight, whatever you want to call it.
and I'm going to say this. The thing is, I've noticed a lot of these other companies that do this very, I don't want to say low budget because it still has a lot of money involved in it. But like, I get the grit. It really sells the environment. But I really want to see something because some of these moves they do are so good. I want to see a little more lighting and better,
This one
better
is an
theatrics
outlier
to
though.
it.
Like I said, it's weird that they went with the old style Ring of Honor
Yeah.
spotlight
When-
Yeah, and-
situation.
Go if you watch Sacrifice from last week, it was a much better lighted show.
And it was in one of, by far, since we've started watching together,
Yeah.
most modern buildings that Impact has ever worked
Oh,
in.
the one
Like,
at Windsor.
usually-
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, usually they're all like in little dingy like this, like a club or like
Yeah.
a theater.
A
That
small
was in
arena.
like a full arena.
This reminded me of like when ECW used to do their shows from the Manhattan Center, the
Yeah.
early WWF shows, that kind of thing.
but
That's-
WWF had good lighting in the Manhattan Center.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whereas
but see,
ECW
even
did not.
Well, that's what I'm saying. ECW, even WCW at some points had like bad like that. I mean, they had better lighting
On
than a lot of the
Saturday
companies.
night, they had
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
really awkward
But
fucking.
that's my. I like that effect, but the thing is now it's like I've kind of grown out of that because the thing is, backyard wrestling was a big deal back in those times. You guys know we were part
Yeah.
of that. You know what I mean? So I feel that appeal is gone because there's much more because of social media that it's hard for me to get into that grittiness. I'm more
Mhm.
like I like the impacts, but I want to see them better than oh how hard did he hit? Oh, it's a little too dark to see. You get what I'm saying? Like I want to see those impacts more of in a brighter area, and that kind of lost it for me when it comes to some
I
of these
agree.
matches. I'll be
And
honest
I
with you.
think if you had been live here on the bottom level, all the way at the back by that food area, with the way the lighting was, how did you see any of this match?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also have a special shout out later towards the end of the podcast to someone in the show as well. So
Okay.
Yeah.
So Kenta goes over, he retains. Where does Kenta go from here?
Kenta has to ride a really hot streak and be dominant as hell. And it has to
Are we
end
going to
with
get a
him
Kenta
leaving Bullet
ELP
Club.
match, maybe?
Yeah, it has to be some kind of match where it ends with him losing to a Bullet Club member and he leaves Bullet Club.
So Kenta and ELP leave Bullet Club, maybe loses to Chase Owens?
I don't know. Maybe he loses to ELP and ELP stays in Bullet Club and Kenta leaves.
Yeah, but the story they're telling, ELP is definitely leaving.
I don't know. ELP seems pretty happy with David Finlay towards the end of it.
That's true. That's true. But it leads to something really interesting. And the match that I did not expect to be the main event tonight. I honestly thought Kenta versus Suzuki was going to be the last match, but we get Hiroshi Tanahashi against Speedball Mike Bailey, Mr. No Shoes himself.
Which it's
Okay.
fine. I imagine
Tanahashi had to be the main event.
working
You asked
with
Tanahashi as
Tanahashi-
a last minute replacement. Tanahashi
Yeah.
had to be the main event.
but this was like my whole thing, and I was telling this to Putty. Yes, okay, I understand Tanahashi's a legend, but he's no longer in he doesn't even though he's much younger, he doesn't have those abilities of Chris Jericho anymore. And the way his knees don't work, his moveset is awkward now. So
Yeah.
it's weird that you chose him other than the name recognition to be in this main event. And it's also
The main
weird that
event
you
was supposed
chose
to
Mike
be, it was always
Bailey.
supposed to be Mike Bailey against Will Ospreay.
Yes, which
That-
I would have been like, okay, but in this situation, it's awkward. I would have lowered this down on the card. I would have put Kenta Suzuki or even Leo Rush versus Kushida as the main event after.
Well, this
Or even a
guy's
tag match.
Oh, this guy's Speedball. Here's the thing. He had some good moves, like he had some like quick moves, but there's something again, even like I've said it before, not even just ring moves. You really have to fit the character, and there's something off about just him in general where it doesn't seem appealing. It's more like a kid playing pretend. Like I
agree.
He doesn't have
take him
that
seriously.
charisma or that character development just
He
yet
also looks really stupid.
without
Yeah,
shoes.
it doesn't look.
And
He looks like
me
a kid that's
and
trying to be
Putty just
something
came
they
to this
can't be.
conclusion, okay? Because first of all, I would like to shout out to Porky's butthole. But
Oh man,
they
we were talking about the
they
Porky's
looked
butthole.
like Beavis and Butthead with their stupid haircuts. We were
Oh,
like
yeah,
laughing
the
so
blonde and
hard at it. Because Tanahashi has like an 80s like
blonde mullet.
blonde mullet, and he has like a 90s black hair hillbilly mullet.
Yeah.
And it just either way, I think the match they put on was good. I just working with Tanahashi must be amazing because he seems
Yeah.
super safe. Like everything that goes on in the ring is so like beat by beat, like smooth.
I'm going to take care of you in the ring.
Yeah,
Even the
and
outside work. Yeah.
It was just, it went really well. And there was a couple high points, and it wasn't a bad match by any means, but I'm starting to get to the point now where I don't want to see Tanahashi anymore.
I don't
Like-
I still want to see Tanahashi, but in a different aspect.
In a different aspect. I agree.
Yeah.
He
Not
needs to be used properly.
he's
He's overly
needs to be
used.
he's mid card. He needs to be putting people like I don't know, like ELP over or
Exactly.
someone or Uemura over or
Yes, he needs to be
what's
in a
his name?
feud with
Narita.
Shota and
Yeah.
putting or Narita and putting one of them over. I agree. Because he's not useless, but he just doesn't have that main event flash anymore. He has the name recognition of
It
main
kind of like
event.
going back to what we did 2 nights ago with WrestleMania, kind of like with Cena and Austin Theory.
Yeah, it's kind of like Undertaker towards the end, where he
Yeah.
had the name recognition, but it was like he just couldn't go anymore. Mind you,
Yeah.
he's much better than Undertaker. So 60-year-old PCO is much better than
Is much
Undertaker. But it's to me the way that they laid out the match, and Tanahashi goes over.
Yeah.
But
Ended
for-
abruptly too. They like
Yes.
cut the feed off
Yeah, it
before he
was weird.
even did his air guitar.
and the thing, he played air guitar on his leg though, which was cool.
Yeah.
But in this situation, as good as they made Mike Bailey look, and going back to what you just said, wouldn't you put Mike Bailey over in this situation?
Yeah.
Like, doesn't it? I guarantee you what happened was they're like AEW. They love to give replacements for people that they need back
Yeah.
or that are injured. So they're like, oh, take Tanahashi. He's got name recognition, but he has to win.
He'll sell tickets. Yeah. But
Yeah,
he'll,
but and he's like,
that
I'm
was
not
probably
losing.
Tanahashi said, I'll do
Yeah.
this, but I need to go over.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not losing this match, said some kid I never heard of.
With no shoes.
Yeah, with no shoes on, Canadian bitch. Sorry,
French
yeah, so-
Canadian.
but yeah, I actually like Mike Bailey, and the thing is,
He
like,
needs to work. Mike Bailey, if he can work on his character and develop a character, I think he
He
got
has
something.
no character.
Yeah. But remember, Josh Alexander, when he split from Ethan Page and they split up, he too, for a little bit, had to develop that solo character.
And his character still isn't the strongest, but it completely works for what he is. He's a very like non-big mouth guy. He's all about business.
But
And-
I let my words in the ring. I back
Yeah,
up my words in the
And
ring. Yeah.
he's amazing in the ring. But look, what we were talking about earlier, I see what they want to do with Mike Bailey, but he's not ready for that.
No.
There's no way you're telling me, because you know what's going to happen. If Kushida wins over Macklin, they're going to start a feud between Bailey and Kushida
I'm not ready for that.
because they want to move the title as fast as possible to give people recognition now before Josh comes back, because they're going to give it back to him.
You know what? Have Kushida hold on to it until
I think so. I think Kushida deserves this. His career speaks for itself.
like, I mean, Kushida's 40 now, right? So he's not like a young kid anymore.
Yeah, let him go on a run.
Let him go on a run. Even if he loses from one show, like have him lose like in September at a show to Macklin, but then win it right back. That's fine too.
Yeah. Have a
Fair
big
enough.
match at Slammiversary with Bailey versus Kushida and let Kushida win.
Yeah, absolutely. Then Bound for
Anyways.
Glory. That's
Yeah.
it. All right. Yeah. Putty, anything to add to this event? This
yeah,
was
you-
your
Uh,
first. Was this your
you're
first Impact show?
No, he
Yeah,
watched
pre-
Slammiversary.
Oh, you
Oh
watched
yeah, that's right. I did
Slammiversary,
watch
yeah,
Slammiversary. I forgot about that. I enjoyed it. I mean, again, outside of that, it took me a moment. I mean, a shout out to the drunk girl that decided to be in every single shot of entrance. Clearly,
Oh, the blonde,
she
the
had
blonde
a-
chick.
Yeah, she
Oh yeah,
clearly had fun by
Putty
herself.
liked to do commentary for her, so whenever someone would walk by, he would say what she was saying.
Oh, Putty's
Also,
in
we had
love,
a
eh?
few matches where we fully
in love.
pretended that we were the people and like talked for the whole match while they were fighting and like what they were saying. It was pretty funny. But yeah,
It was still
I
a
mean,
good show.
Yeah,
and
it was a good show.
Impact, they're getting back on pace because what was the show we reviewed that wasn't? Was it No Surrender? That kind of was lackluster.
Yeah, and there was no bad matches here,
No.
minus maybe the pre-show match, but that
Yeah.
was still a decent match.
Serviceable and more Uemura is
They
fine
need to
by
do
me.
more with Uemura. He's
Yeah.
so talented, and their Impact has a problem with using excursion people. They just
Yeah.
don't know what to do. They dressed him up like Kato and say that he's working with the Green Hornet.
That's it. So
Shout
with
out to
that,
Okada.
Putty, what was your score?
It is-
Let's go with you.
Well, I actually didn't think about this too much. I enjoyed it, but I don't know. Since I'm still new, I feel like I'm not going to put it as high. I'm saying a 7 for this one. It was a 7
Okay.
for me.
That's a fair score.
I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
And
I
I'm
think-
going slightly higher. I'm giving it a 7.7.
Okay, that's fair. I'm in that realm because I do think that the show as a whole was really good.
Yeah.
I do think its presentation knocked it down a little.
I was
And-
gonna give it a 7.9 if it wasn't for the audio and presentation.
That's where most of its points came
Because
off for
on
me.
paper, this was good. And what it was on paper delivered an entertaining, fun show. And that's all I ask for, like I always say.
Mhm.
So anybody got anything else to add before we end this? No?
Well, isn't this coming out after we just finished WrestleMania and everything? Because
Yes,
that was pretty good. You can actually feel in here where they can't see what I'm saying, but basically it was awesome and everything,
Yeah.
or not, whatever. You can feel it in my words. But
yeah,
anyway,
but
that's how I feel about that thing about WrestleMania. So
it's been a good solid weekend of wrestling.
Yep.
Join in next week when we're going to have our review of NXT Stand and Deliver, Ring of Honor, Super Card of Honor, and New Japan Sakura Genesis. So Okada versus Sonata on that one. So
Okada Sonata.
Okada Sonata.
Oh, that's good.
But got to give credit to that one to Fab. So with that
Yeah.
out of the way, thanks again for joining us. We'll see you all next time. Goodbye and good night.